In this video, we're going to get ready to start actually making a game using the skills that we've learnt in GML. When it comes to making games, it's common to see a lot of advice for planning what you want to make using storyboards, design documents, etc. This advice isn't wrong. Proper planning can help a lot, especially for large projects with hundreds if not thousands of assets involved. Knowing what you want to make helps a lot with making everything work because you can plan for the future with your code. It's common to see people forget about a pause feature, for example, and have to implement that halfway through development. This can pose some major issues depending on the game. However, when it comes to game jams, this is less important, as you're often on a tight schedule of a few days to as little as a few hours. These games are often small in scope to allow for completion within the time frame and therefore require less planning or none at all. No matter the game though, we need to start with an idea. If we think about the basic scope of the idea, we can determine how detailed our planning should be. Large projects often fare better with more planning. Smaller games can normally get away with less. It's up to us to determine what is best, and this kind of thing gets easier with experience. Our game will be fairly basic, as it's an introduction to actually use the things we've learned throughout this course. With that being said, less planning is required. The game will be simple. The player will be a square, tasked with collecting golden coins placed around a room. With each coin, an enemy will spawn. Touching the enemy will cause a game over. Controls will be done by arrow keys and W, S, A, and D. Enemies will have three types: horizontal, vertical, and diagonal. They will move based on their type and have slightly different colors. Enemies will each have a random speed determined by a set minimum and maximum range. Due to their similar behavior throughout the types, we can use a single object as a parent object and have child objects created from this parent object like a template. With each coin touched, we get a point and spawn an enemy. The game lasts until the player dies. Our game will feature two modes, normal and double time. Double time simply spawns two enemies with each collectible. This course focuses on programming, so art will be simple squares and standard fonts. We can feel free to change the game later on should we wish to make it look nicer. This is our basic plan. We now know what we want to make and have a basic idea on its functionality. As we gain more experience with programming in GML, our ability to see the idea coming to life will improve. Eventually, with enough experience, it's common to be able to program small games like this in your head without much effort. Alright, so let's make a game.